just about ready to go. So AKC-12, take it away with F-Zero GX.
Another pretty good GX runner for max speed. Behind me is Drakodan, who used to play GX some time ago. So this category here is all tracks time attack, and just as a quick note, max speed is one of the 3 main playstyles for F-Zero GX. Snaking is 0%, where you swerve left and right to gain a lot of speed. Then there's the open ladder, where you can do checkpoint skipping with space flying, and this is the max speed where only 100% is allowed.
Yeah. Max speed is like the main category. It plays the most like how you would normally think of seeing a racing game. It'll still be very fast, don't worry.
All right, I'm all set, so countdown, I guess.
3,
2, 1, go.
Cutscene skip right here, just press A.
So I'll just kind of talk about like different tech that's going on as it comes up. First thing you're going to see is you're going to see a lot of this drifting here. Different vehicles play differently, but the vehicle he's using here uses this drift a lot. It's called MTS, Momentum Throttle Slide. There's a glitch where if you turn sideways and lose grip, then your strafing engine becomes really strong to like pull you forward. He's turning sideways and strafing forward, basically.
Shift boost,
Yeah.
nice. Oh, nice.
Well, that was really fast. You do it all on the opener. On boost laps, so basically starting on lap 2, you can exchange your health, which is the bar on the top right, your energy. You can exchange it to go fast, which is what he does for most of the run. This run is insane right now, actually, for a lot of reasons. Wait, can you get it?
Nah, too much energy.
Okay. He was going to go for a suicide. That 47 is insane. So,
Without a suicide,
congrats for that.
A suicide is something that you're going to see quite a lot of in this run. If, while the vehicle is destroyed and still moving, you still clear the finish line, it still counts.
You basically become really bouncy like a pinball. So sometimes there'll be setups on certain courses to get them. The thing I was saying about the energy is basically once you start boost laps, you exchange your energy for speed. So the openers always look a little bit different than the boost laps. So this is split over here. He's going to be using Fat Shark, which is default like standard vehicle of the game.
He's not going to make it back.
Yeah, this course is pretty simple. Basically, it's just got a ton of boosters, and the goal is to get a bunch of them if you can. There's like a little split. He always takes the side with boosters because it's faster. The other side has refiller, but you don't really need it because it's short enough course.
Yeah.
And then there's the big jump, where if you're going too fast, you fly off and die. But if you handle it just correctly, you can fly through the air and like fly over part of the course. Okay.
Oh!
So he messed it up a little bit there, but he managed to save it.
Being able to survive is the main thing in a lot of courses. There's a lot of tricks throughout a lot of courses that do carry with them a risk of death, and being that there are 3 laps in each race, it's possible to die in a bad spot on some tracks and lose a lot of time from taking a lap 3 death.
That was what a good jump looks like. Not even the best he can do, but that was a pretty successful one.
As David was mentioning before as well, currently we're using the vehicle Fat Shark. There are a few different vehicles used in the run. This vehicle is used in a lot of tracks because the different vehicles have a lot of different parameters for their own stats, such as body, boost strength, max speed, handling, stuff like that. A lot of Fat Shark's parameters are just really high. Like, it has one of the best top speed in the game, one of the best boosters. It's got really high acceleration. It's a very useful vehicle.
It's the heaviest standard vehicle, but it also has like the highest boost strength and the highest acceleration. It becomes useful in any place that has a lot of boosters.
I think it has the longest duration speed of all the standard
It does,
vehicles.
yeah. So there are also custom vehicles in this game, which I'll talk more about later, but that was the vehicle he used on the first course. So here he's using Black Bull. It's the other standard vehicle that he's going to be using occasionally in the run. The thing about this vehicle is that its MTS is pretty strong. It's pretty similar to Quickstar in like how you use it, which is the vehicle he used on the first course. The added weight makes it drive a little bit differently, so they're just useful for different courses in different ways.
Yeah, like Black Bull loses traction extremely easily, which you'd normally think is a bad thing, but for applying MTSs like this, it's very useful because you can basically force a loss of traction anywhere.
Yeah, and then on top of that, it also has pretty good strafe strength. So the amount when you're holding the strafe button, if you move to the side, is just a raw stat. And it's is pretty good, and then also its turn strength, while it doesn't have grip, also plays a factor. There's a ton of like different stats that go into it. Comes out to being a really good vehicle for MTS chaining. So on courses without a lot of boosters and without a lot of energy, Black Bull's good for it. It doesn't have very good boost strength, but if there isn't very much energy to use and very many boosters to hit, it doesn't really matter too much.
Yeah, there are a lot of situations as well where you don't even want to be boosting, such as if you're above a certain speed, so it's not too much of a handicap for a vehicle to have a weaker booster, depending on the situation.
Yeah, so kind of talking about that, there's a tech in this game called MT. It's actually like probably the most important tech in the game, the first or second most, where essentially if you're above your max speed and you're holding A, which is the engine button, your speed will be pulled down to your max speed. So if you're going like 1800, normal vehicles, the speed cap is around like 1100, then assuming you're not boosting, also that was a good time.
Yeah.
But assuming you're not boosting,
Yeah, that was pretty good. Only about 2 seconds off my PB there.
yeah,
so
that was his
I'm happy with that.
fourth best time. If you're going well above your max speed, then you want to have the engine off because, like, if you're going 1800, your speed would pull down to 1100. But if you're not holding A, then basically your speed will decelerate fairly linearly.
Essentially, each vehicle has their own set max speed, so different vehicles have different max speeds, but the general consensus seems to be that if you're above, I think it's about 200 of your max speed, you want the engine off, because as David said, if your engine is off, the deceleration is linear, but if you have the engine on, it's actually exponential, where like it drops a lot faster and then slows down as you get closer to your max speed.
Yeah, so you can actually see he's doing it too when he's doing these MTSs. It's kind of hard to see because it's the red sparks next to it, but whenever he's like drifting, his engine actually turns off. So like you stop seeing those 3 white lines behind it. When he like exited to do the side attacks, you have to hold A in order to be able to side attack, which is why he has to do that. The inputs for MTS chaining are like super complicated. Basically, you have to like to do the MTS, you have to hold left and R or right and L, so like opposite strafe to your direction. But then to do the chain, you have to hold both L and R, and then turn the other direction and press A and mash B a couple of times. So this course is Mobius ring. It's just like a Mobius trip. You drive on both sides of it, or I guess the side, depending on technicality. Basically, it's just an oval. There's not really a lot to it, except it's going to be MTS chaining for a lot of it, and it's going to utilize mine boosts pretty significantly. He's going to do like a triple mine boost on the opener, and then probably 1 mine boost on each lap.
Mines are both kind of like a blessing and a curse because they can give you a big speed boost, but like depending on the angle that you hit them, they can be very unpredictable.
Yeah, so like right there, he kind of like hit it barely on the side, so pushed him to the side into the wall and he lost his speed, but you'll see it probably again on boost laps better. So this course, the record actually uses Gallant Star, and Gallant Star probably has the potential to be a little bit faster. Black Bull is a little bit easier, and then also, in the case of this run, it's a lot faster because you'd have to load the custom machines, which takes like a couple seconds.
It's worth mentioning as well with the mine boosts that like once a mine has been hit, it doesn't regenerate. So if you're planning to use mines to go faster, you do need to plan spots to use different mines on different 3 laps.
Yeah, so like in this case, he gets like the triple mine boost on the first lap because he doesn't, since normally mines do damage to you, and especially with like Black Bull, its body value isn't like particularly high.
Yeah. The game says that it is, but the game's stats lie a lot.
Yeah, the letters are literally just ripped from F-Zero-X, which is the N64 version, and like most of them are pretty inaccurate. But like he uses the triple mine boost on lap 1 because it doesn't matter that he loses a bunch of energy because he's gonna get a refill later.
You guys can say some donations right now. Then this next course is fairly boring, fairly straightforward.
Sure thing. I have a $50 donation from I Hate Elvis saying, thrilled to see F-Zero GX in AGDQ this year. Good luck, AKC.
Thank you.
A $30 donation from Durag. My mother beat cancer this year, and I can't think of a better way to celebrate than by naming the Breath of the Wild horse Mom.
So really quick, slight optimization there. He just like waited a bit to boost because if you start through this string of boosters here at like if you wait to boost and you come through at like a slightly higher boost speed, then you go through this entire section going faster. So rather than boosting right at the beginning of the lap, it's just a little bit better to wait a little bit.
A $5 donation from Bitsmall. Had to donate during F-Zero GX, one of my favorite games of all time. It's hard to believe it's been 14 years since the last F-Zero game came out. So here's to hoping we get a new entry on the Switch.
Amen.
We have a $1,000 donation from Fan Gamer.
There you go, that was a pretty good run. That actually beats my personal best by like 2 seconds.
Really? It wasn't that great for me.
All right, well. Up next is Serial Gaps. It's a really cool course. I'm not going to say anything until after it happens. But assuming it goes well, it should be really impressive.
All you know is a lot of people really hate trying to just drive this course.
Yeah.
It's cool though.
Yeah, I'll be using a fairly safe start here, so I don't lose a bunch of time here. So
Yeah. But if he dies here a couple times, it's probably expected, so that'll be fine.
Still gonna look cool though.
Okay.
Oh well.
That's exactly what I mean about the mines being unpredictable. He was banking on getting a different kind of collision there.
Yeah. You'll still get to see most of what he was trying to show on the boost laps. A slightly easier version of it, but... So there's the first half.
Why don't you do more with that, but I'll take it.
Yeah. So there's this, and then
All right, here we go.
that. If that course is done totally correctly, both of those skips all 3 laps, but it's pretty hard to do. Up next is going to be Emerald Cup. This cup is just full of Fat Shark courses. The first 4 use Fat Shark. A lot of them just have like a lot of boosters and a lot of shift boost opportunities. This first course is Cylinder Knot. It's basically the other side of a pipe. You're on the outside. This course just has a lot of boosters on it, and there's several different shift boost opportunities. Most of them, or several of them, have like pretty easy setups, and then some of them are a little bit harder. So like right there, he like kind of shook for a little bit, but if you do that a little bit better, you can get a shift boost. You can get that shift boost there.
Yep.
You can get an MTS and a shift boost on that drop, but it's really hard to do. Also, there he was going for the edge boost, so that happens sometimes. You're just trying to line up and you barely miss it. So here, this is set up for a double shift boost coming up on this lump here. Yeah. Okay, so he only got one, but
I let go of A too early. That was odd.
yeah. But if you get it, then you can get like over 2,000.
Yeah.
And
This is just a really important track to have a good understanding of exactly where the placement of the boost panels is, because as you can see, they're only situated on small parts, then they don't completely surround the track. So being that it is a cylinder, you need to know exactly where you need to be at all times to get the boosts.
Yeah. And then also, it doesn't look like it, but driving on cylinders is actually really hard.
Yeah.
If you aren't driving like quite with the grain of the cylinder, then you'll be facing like a downslope on the course, and then so you'll catch air. And something I haven't explained yet, which he's been doing, is a quick turn, where it's pretty much how you turn most of the time. You lose grip by pressing both L and R, and then you release the trigger the direction you don't want to turn. So you press like L and R, and then if you want to turn left, you press L and left.
There we
And
go.
yeah, that was the double shift boost. So you can see he's going really fast. So the reason why quick turns are important is because you can turn a lot sharper than you would be otherwise. But if you catch air, then when you're in the air, your vehicle functions as if it has grip as far as how it turns and stuff. Also, that was an MTS and a shift boost. That was really good. If you catch air, then you can't do a quick turn because you have grip again. So it messes with your control a lot.
It's worth noting that on top of what we mentioned before about using MT, cutting the engine while you're above your top speed, even when you use as a boost panel, you do want to hold the A button for that because you can't actually accelerate while boosting without holding the A button.
Oh yeah, slight clarification on that. Basically, you only hold the A button to do things that would give you speed, and then you release the A button whenever you're not doing things that give you speed.
Yeah.
That's pretty much like an easy way to put it.
And the timing is different between using boost pads and using a manual boost because the boost duration from a boost pad is shorter than a manual boost.
Yeah, it's half as much, but the boost strength is stronger, so they usually come out to giving you about the same amount of speed.
Yeah, it only really matters for the purpose of getting good MT, since as we said, once the boost is finished, holding A for additional frames just causes you to decelerate faster.
So that's a 226. That's a really good time. That beats my PB. I feel like that'll happen a lot.
Common
AKC's
theme,
really good.
yeah.
You're going to place a bet on how many times that's going to happen through this run?
I'm afraid to know the number. Yeah, so this is going to be intersection. Basically, this course has a pipe that kind of like laces through the track. There's like one strip of the track where you kind of drive around it. So you can see like on the mini-map on the right side, there's like the pipe that bends back and forth through it. On each of those bends, there's an opportunity to get a shift boost, or sometimes a double shift boost if you're lucky. So a lot of this course comes down to how well you can get those. So you can see he's going to try and get as many as he can. But basically, you just line up on a certain part of the pipe, and then you tap A at the right time, like that.
Ooh, nice.
And you tap A again. So that was really good. He missed the first one, but then the rest of it was really fast. Chaining those together is actually like really hard. And then here's the part where it goes back and forth. You actually like go back and forth across to get these different boosters, which looks kind of hard, but actually it's not too bad. But this turn right here is like really bad.
Yeah, that's the turn that you want to take a rare break for sometimes.
Yeah,
You can go too fast and just fly straight off the track.
Yeah. If you don't handle it quite right, it's really dangerous. But actually one thing that you do, instead of slowing down for it, this game kind of has like glitch physics when you're going up an upslope and you're going fast enough, where your vehicle becomes really clingy. It's kind of hard to explain, but basically the reason why he does an MTS through that turn, outside of just the fact that it's fast, is it gets him going fast enough that he gets the glitched upslope physics. So he clings to the ground really well.
I just missed that last one for whatever reason. Oh well.
Yeah, this is good though. Sub 2, 159.
Nice.
That's a really good time.
Yeah, not many people have sub 2 minutes here, even in ILs.
Yeah. Yeah, that was like his 5th best time that he's ever gotten. Yeah, so this course is double branches. It's going to be the first place you'll see off-course shift boosts. Essentially, like I was saying, to get a shift boost, you have to catch air for a moment. And normally the way to do that is to like go over a little lump on the ground at the right speed. What you can also do is you can also just go off the side of the course for a moment and come back on. And if you do it fast enough, then you won't die. You'll make it back onto the course.
Yeah.
If you do it too slowly, you'll die.
The difficulty is like mitigated based on a couple of factors. Like when you're going faster, it's a bit easier to deal with, and depending on the gradient, such as if you're going downhill, it's a little more forgiving.
But definitely a big thing is how fast you're going, because the faster you're going, like the less you fall.
Yeah.
Or the slower you fall, assuming you're not pointed down.
There is a couple of spots in this course as well, such as just before there, where last track I mentioned about braking to not get any air, that is borderline forced in this track. Like there's one of the specific turns there, it seems to be if you're above like 1500, you will just come away from the track and you basically cannot get back.
Yeah, it's somewhere around a little above 1400. A lot of this game, since it's like an anti-gravity racer, you're actually driving upside down. So the issue is if you lift off the track when you're upside down, your vehicle flips back over and you can't make it back onto the track. So if you're going fast enough, when the course bends down, then you're going to die. Okay, so right there also, you saw like the glitched upslope physics. One of the things is if you're doing an MTS, your vehicle just kind of like hangs sideways and just kind of sticks there. So if you get enough speed on the, like doing the shift boost, then you can get it. So if he gets it on lap 3, I'll like point it out again. You can see like right there, he's doing an MTS because when you exit an MTS, like you're going to have a little bit less speed. So it's just kind of a good way to like utilize that speed temporarily since you need to slow down anyway. Because when you're doing the MTS, you just get a little bit further forward, so.
Oh.
Oh, why did I do that?
See, every single one just feels so free until you mess up one, and then you lose like 2 minutes.
I was about to say something about it. It looks like he's not bothering because it's too dangerous on lap 3.
Yeah, so it's a lot more dangerous right there because the track's like upward a little bit. Okay, so like right there, he like turned sideways and just kind of like sat there for a minute instead of like turning. Even though he was facing to the right, he didn't actually move to the right just because of that glitched upslope physics, but.
That's how you do it.
That was a really good side effect dive there.
All right, that was the last time I'll do that.
We have a $20 donation from Grant Parker. Really cool to see F-Zero at lightning fast speeds.
Yeah, so if you don't go for shift boost, it's faster to like drop down there and just get more boosters instead. That was a good time.
Not bad.
222.
We have $20 from Anonymous. Amazing cause, amazing people, amazing games.
Yeah, so up next is going to be Halfpipe. This course has a lot of shift boost opportunities. It also has a lot of places you can die since there's no walls anywhere. But especially starting off here, there's going to be a setup to go for a double shift boost, which will allow for a pretty cool skip. I guess he'll reset a couple times going for it, and if he can't get it, then he'll just move on.
Yeah. It seems to be easier on lap 1, though, since your speed is pretty much always going to be the same when you start, and this is influenced by speed.
Really? Gonna try to get the double shift boost there.
Yeah. So basically, if you drive over that little drop at just the right speed, then you get a double shift boost. So we have a kind of consistent setup for it. Yeah,
There we go. Instant 2200.
And jump because of that speed. And another jump. So this course starts off pretty crazy, really fast. About here, like he only just slowed down. Oh yeah, off-course shift boost there. Usually they're pretty hard on the half pipe because since you have to be sideways on the whoa, I've never seen that shift boost before. That was cool. Usually since you're sideways in the half pipe, like if you try and strafe off, then like your vehicle will try and correct its angle, so it'll be weird. But also he was going for a setup to slow down a little bit to get the double shift boost again, because it legitimately saves like 3 or 4 seconds or more possibly if you get it. And since he started the lap going normal speed anyway. Okay. So he actually got a shift boost there right before the jump, but his angle was like a little bit off, which is why it was kind of dangerous, but he made it back, so it's fine. But yeah, like the shift boost that he went for the off-course one, like right there, or he just passed on lap 1, is because like the course is like twisting, there happens to be like a little spot where you're just about flat with the ground, so you have like a little bit more opportunity to actually get it and make it back on.
Just as a marker of just how good that lap 1 was as well, just look at the lap times. Normally you would expect to see lap 1 being the slowest lap because you don't have access to boost power, but that lap 1 was so clean that it's like a full 3 seconds faster.
Also, he slowed down there to try and get the shift boost on lap 3.
Unlucky with those shift boosts there. It's kind of random whether you get it or not.
Yeah, there's just like a little lump on the ground. If you just drive over it going fast enough, you get it usually. 216 is pretty good.
Not bad at all.
On the next course here, coming up is Big Blue Ordeal. You're going to see Gallant Star pretty much being used to its full potential. Gallant Star's biggest thing, basically it's really heavy, which is why its side attack dives are really good. And this course has a lot of side attack dives. So it's going to build up a lot of speed. There's also a couple cool skips you can go for.
We have a $100 donation from Turtle Freak. Wow, I had to donate during this F-Zero run. It's my favorite racing game, and you're just destroying every track. It's really fun to see.
Yo, you got it. Nice.
Nice.
Okay, that skips is a lot harder on lap 1. He got it. So that was really good. Basically, the track actually like loops around to the right, like around the building. You just kind of like go around it the other way instead. Yeah, so here he's doing a little bit of MTS chaining. Gallant's actually like the hardest vehicle of any of the top vehicles to MTS chain. Also, there's an opportunity of a rail slide being used outside of the end of a track. Just kind of works out there to like exit the rail slide, and then you do like a little bit of side attack dive. Oh, he got the full skip. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, that full skip is really difficult. On top of it being hard to execute, you also have to be going really fast going into it. that might actually probably be the hardest part, is making sure you're going fast enough on the way in. But he got it, so.
Yeah, that wasn't optimal, but I made it,
yeah,
so
you made
whatever.
it. Also here, it's pretty consistent suicide. He got over 4,000 there.
Probably saved us a second, so it's worth it. Fairly safe.
Yeah.
Okay, so here is Diamond Cup. This has the hardest courses in the game.
Yeah.
Especially this first course. This course has a lot of narrow sections where there's no walls just about anywhere on the course. There's like a couple small places where there's some walls, but hardly anywhere. And there's like the areas where it splits into 3, which is why it's called Trident. And basically on this course, he's just going to abuse shift boost as much as possible.
Yeah.
The world record is insanely fast. So you could spend like days on this course and never finish a run if you're trying really hard. So he's not going to go as crazy as possible. But he's got a strat worked out for which ones he's going to go for, especially more on the opener because they're less punishing to miss because you only lose 30 seconds or whatever instead of 2 minutes into a run.
Yeah. No. Like, if you want to see the game push to its limits, go and watch a TAS of this track.
Yeah, there was a task that was developed a while back, but unfortunately it desynced, which is actually kind of funny, but it makes it most of the way to the end. And I don't know, it looks pretty insane. But even like top runs of this, so for example, the Staff Ghost, which this course's Staff Ghost is fairly hard. The Staff Ghosts are like the best time attack times that the developers ever achieved during the...
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll stop going for that.
Like to be honest, all of the staff ghosts in this game are relatively strong. Like
Yeah.
compared to what you'd expect in a racing game, the staff ghosts in this game are actually really difficult.
Yeah. So the Staff Ghost on this course is 2 minutes and 57 seconds, and for comparison, the world record is 1:35. So it's almost twice as fast. It's also the only course where the max speed record is faster than the snaking record, which we didn't really talk much about snaking, but in general, snaking is much faster. It's a different category because most of the time people don't really like to do it because it's really hard on your hands. We might show it off at the end of the run if there's time, possibly.
Yeah,
for
like,
like 30 seconds.
snaking is actually considered something of a health hazard. Like,
Yeah.
if you're grinding attempts for hours and hours, then you're going to actually cause damage to your hands and wrists.
Yeah, assuming you're not careful. Like if you tense up too much.
Yeah.
Assuming you take care of your hands, it's fine. But yeah, so when you stack shift boost together, like you can get, like there he was going almost 3,000. The shift boosts after the dive are fairly easy because the ground like curves down perfectly, and the faster you're going, the slower you fall in the air, so it's easier to get back on track. But if he chains them together, he can get above 3,000. Other than that, he's just kind of boosting through and taking the paths that give him refiller and boost. It's like he goes on one for a bit to get a booster, and then he switches paths right after.
Never missed that during practice. That's really
Yeah.
surprising.
Oh yeah, so something kind of interesting about this course is something we're not entirely sure about yet, but this is a course, one of the heavier body parts than Gallant might be useful. We did some testing on it, and essentially since heavier vehicles get more speed from shift boosts, the disadvantages that it has regarding like handling and stuff like that don't really play a part because this course is pretty straight. So currently Black Bull, Fat Shark, Gallant Star, and Quick Star hold all the records except for one course, but this might be a course that a different vehicle could be used. Oh, something I didn't explain. There's something called Boost State MT, where essentially if you're going really fast, like above 2,000, then even if you're boosting, you still won't gain speed from boosting. So basically you boost for a moment and then you turn off the engine right after, because when you're in boost state, your acceleration is actually lower, and your acceleration number plays a part in how good your MT is. So he boosts for just a minute and then turns off the engine. I kind of forgot to mention it, but you see it especially like right after the shift boost after the dive. That's something that's also important because you don't want to be boosting while you get a shift boost, since your acceleration is lower, and your acceleration plays a part in how much speed you get from a shift boost. So you pretty much only want to boost in places that you're not going to be shift boosting, that you know you're not going to for that time. So this is lateral shift. Basically, there's a bunch of places in the course where course shift to the side for like a little bit like that. And if you drive over the corner just right, you can get a shift boost. These ones are probably some of the easiest shift boosts in the game to get. But it's still easy to just like mess up on any single one of them. And also, you go very, very fast on this course. So there's a lot of like, it's really hard to control.
Yeah, and there is at least one spot in this stage as well where if you're going too fast,
So
right here, you'll come off the track.
Yeah, if you're going above 1800, you'll lift off the track, which is actually what he did there on purpose. He just waited a bit. He waited a bit and like slowed down to 1800, and then he did an MTS into shift boost since it was still like bending down. And that was just like another thing to go fast. It's like if you keep track of where he's boosting, like he doesn't boost it all through here. He doesn't boost because it would still be active if you went for that one. You can maybe boost there, but like Hero's already in boost state from the booster, so it doesn't really matter. So there's really not very many places that you want to boost, and they actually slow you down. I believe the world record for this course and other like a couple other top times don't use any boost at all. There is one place on laps 2 and 3 that a boost should be useful, but it's kind of using like boost state MT was only discovered like several years ago, and the game's been competitively time attacked since like the game came out in 2003 or whatever.
Yeah.
So like basically on that if you boost before that last turn and boost MT it, it'll save a little bit of time. But that's a fairly minor thing. And other than that, the world record doesn't boost at all. So.
Yeah, that was an acceptable time right there, 130. Yeah.
Yeah, so
It'll do.
the world record for that course is actually 102, and the staff ghost is like almost 2 minutes. So that's another course that the like the world record is almost half as fast as the staff ghost, just like Trident.
You know, it's first try. That's the most important thing.
Yeah,
Too.
it's pretty easy to die a lot. So
These huge time differences as well, it's important to note, they don't like imply that AKC is getting bad runs or driving badly. All it is testament to is just how much you can get out of this game's engine and the mechanics.
Yeah.
Like, it's really difficult to overstate just how much extra speed can be gained with the tech and how high the skill ceiling is.
yeah, like you would think games like this, like IL games, you think like, oh, you know, people like top times are going to be within like a tenth of a second of each other or something like that. No, like on quite a few courses, like the time gains, like time differences are multiple seconds, and it's not because like the second place person's time is bad. It's just there's so much. Basically, there's a lot of shift boost opportunities. These shift boosts at the beginning are fairly easy as well, since the course curves down, so you have more time to get back on the course. But there's a lot of other things to this course. There's like several different side attack dives. Like there's basically this course is just lumps. So there's big lumps and small lumps. And then he travels over the small lumps by hitting the jump plate and like kind of flying over them. Because if you drive over them like normal, like you might see if he misses one of the jump plates, then they just kind of like bounce you around and they murder your speed. And sometimes they throw you off the course too if you're going very fast. It's especially more dangerous like the second set. Oh yeah. Also, those poles, all those poles have collisions. So if you hit them, you'll get pushed out of the way.
Yeah, like nothing's really purely aesthetic in these tracks. Like if there's an object, it's likely solid.
Yeah. So like you can see here, they're just kind of like bouncing around. And if the faster you're going, the more dangerous those lumps are. If you're going like normal driving speed, they seem fine. That you don't even think about them. But yeah, so you kind of have to like navigate around them. And sometimes he'll have to like turn back. Oh, he's barely saved it.
Not being very lucky here so far.
Yeah. So like you would think you just have like a setup to like hit it, jump plate at the same time or like same place or whatever. But there's so many factors that go into play. It's exactly like how you're launched. Like your exact angle matters, your exact speed matters, your exact. Oh yeah, you can also bounce on those ones, which would happen there.
Yeah, like even if you had a perfect positional setup, your speed hitting it is never going to be the same, and that has one of the biggest impacts on where you actually go.
Yeah, your speed, your angle, a bunch of different things, like how you hit, like where you hit the jump plate, whether or not you're in boost state. Because if you're boosting, your speed is going to be, you get a lot more height out of it. I mean, yeah. So up next is going to be Dragon Slope. So basically, this course is it's the one course I was saying earlier where the world record isn't with one of the top 4 vehicles. It's another custom vehicle. It uses the same parts as Gallant Star, except it uses the heaviest engine in the game. And the reason why is because there's a gigantic dive where you build up a ton of speed from side attacks. And the heavier you are, the more speed you get from side attacks. And then since it has lower acceleration, you maintain that speed a lot longer. So it kind of outweighs the advantages that the Titan G4, the other engine, has. Which usually it's got like, the fact that it has a higher acceleration, it's like a perfect sweet spot where it's got good enough acceleration to make better use of like boosting and stuff like that than the heavier engines, which technically have a stronger boost strength. But on this course, it doesn't matter. So you build up so much speed from this dive. So like he was going I think I saw 4,000 there for a moment, maybe. Yeah. Also, if you look at the minimap, the course is called Dragon Slope because it's kind of designed to look like a dragon's head. You can see like the little curve on the bottom left is like kind of its snout or whatever. It's kind of hard to see, but that's what it's supposed to look like anyway. Also, interestingly, the minimap is shown from the side instead of top down. You can see like, oh, so that was a nice MTF shift boost there.
Yeah.
Really fast. Oh, another thing about the glitched upslope physics, which you see there, like you can see he's like riding along the wall, but he's not actually hitting it because that's another thing about the glitched upslope physics is that you have to crash into a wall like really hard for it to actually.
A couple of things I'd like to know about this stage. During the huge descent there, you don't actually have completely free reign of where to go because there are a couple of checkpoints you need to avoid, otherwise the game will consider you off course and the run's just over.
There's a couple kill planes. They're especially an issue at the very beginning. Sometimes, like, since you MTS off the edge, so you can start out at an angle, and so you start out going faster. If your MTS is, like, too sharp, then you'll hit the kill plane on the right side.
Yeah. And then, like, after the slope here, we've seen in the first 2 laps, it's a good instance of having a very wide ice section, and the ice section is basically going to remove all your grip and make MTSing incredibly strong.
Yeah. So the course is supposed to, like, you can see in the mini-map in the bottom right, there's supposed to be, like, several different jumps that you land on as you're, like, falling, so, like, you go from one to the next. But with the MTS and a side attack dive, you just skip all of them altogether. So that was a good time. Almost sub 2. 201's good.
I was hoping for sub 2, but oh well.
Yeah, so up next is going to be the course with the most walls in this entire cup, but it's probably still the hardest course. It's Slimline Slits, basically. It's like Rainbow Road, except a lot worse. I don't know where the idea of like Rainbow Road being really scary and hard is, but this game's Rainbow Road is actually hard. Basically, it's super narrow, and there's a lot of like really tight turns, and there's a couple places where you can like, if you're going too fast, you fall off and die. It's just really easy to crash into a bunch of walls and stuff. He's actually going to be using Sonic Phantom here, where essentially this vehicle, it's not like one of the top 2 vehicles. It has a lot better control, so it's a lot better for handling the tight turns and stuff like that. The world record actually uses Black Bull, and it's got some pretty insane jumps. AKC's PB is with Pretty Star, which is a custom vehicle that's like pretty light and has pretty good steering, but instead of using that, it would just take too long to load the custom vehicles, so this vehicle will be faster overall.
It's a very good beginner vehicle.
Yeah.
For anyone who doesn't have all the custom parts yet.
Yeah, so this course is actually pretty cool in the sense that a lot of vehicles can be competitive for a lot of people for a while. You probably need like a top 50 or so time to like start getting times that are better than what some of the best. We keep like a spreadsheet of all the best times with every vehicle on every course. And like to start beating some vehicles like this and Death Anchor and a couple of the other fairly good, like not quite Fat Shark or Black Bolt vehicles, but like that are kind of close. You need probably a top 50 or like maybe even, in fact, I think Great Star has a better time than Fat Shark, which is one of the few courses that Fat Shark and Black Bull don't have the top 2 times. And I think that time's like a low 140, so you probably need like rank 20 something to beat that.
The final major turn of the course as well is possibly the largest offender in this game for when we've been talking about you need to be below a certain speed value or you'll just come straight off the course. Pretty much if you're above 1200 at that section, you'll just come straight off.
Yeah, and actually like you're not quite upside down, but you're like sideways. It's kind of hard to like see, but currently...
So it's right here.
Yeah. So he like slows down until just for a bit. He actually got a shift boost there, which is cool.
Oh.
Yeah, the rail slides on this course are also awful. That would have been really good. That would have been a 145, which would have been a crazy good run. Even sub 150 is pretty solid, and that's what you got even after that big mistake.
Yeah, the spreadsheet record with this is a 142, I believe.
140, was it?
About 142.
Okay, yeah. So within a couple seconds of the best time, or it would have been if you'd gone the rail slide. So this is gonna be AX Cup. It's the final cup of the it's the final cup in the game. These are the courses that are featured in the arcade version of the game, the F-Zero AX. A lot of these courses have like a lot of turns, a lot of energy refill, and like, I don't know, just like something about the turns just kind of feels like you could be like driving it with the steering wheel. But it has a lot of cool courses. It generally has most of my favorite courses because I like having a lot of refills. This game was run 3 years ago when AKC was doing this course. There's a pretty crazy suicide, and Nigleria offered him a pizza for getting the suicide, and he got it, so he got the pizza. So I'm not gonna offer the pizza, but
Oh, please do.
all right, fine. I'll buy you a pizza.
A couple slices is fine. I'll be
All right.
nice.
Yeah, this was also like a couple years ago when like people weren't like as consistent with a lot of the things in the game, so like a lot of the suicides weren't nearly as common. So it was pretty much like the Ordeal one was pretty free probably, and then I don't even know if you guys got any other suicides in the run. But this is like probably like the biggest super suicide. So energy gonna be fine?
All right. Here we go.
There we go.
There you go. Beautiful.
Stuck the landing too.
That was a perfect suicide.
Pepperoni and bacon, please.
All right. This is gonna be Meteor stream here. This course is another course with Gallant Star. It has a potential for a lot of different shift boosts, like MTS and shift boost opportunities. It's a really fun course if you're playing it right because you go really fast.
Depending on a lot of shift boosts that
Yeah.
aren't exactly easy, but
Yeah, they're not very consistent. But some of them are more consistent than others. And ultimately, it really just does come down to how good you are. Like, there's no like actual randomness in the game. First one is right here if he gets it. If you tap A at just the right time, you can get a shift boost, or sometimes two. So a little dive here, and then there's two MTS and shift boosts. Right there, and then right there. You can also get like a strafe shift boost if you like strafe and side attack over that little like bend in the ground. You can catch air. If you're not very consistent at that shift boost to that like little ice section there, you can also just boost straight through, and you can get a lot of speed out of that. Like that's what I do in my personal best on boost laps.
One thing that's like a little
Suicide?
odd I've found about AX Cup. Yeah, suicide.
There you go.
Oh, nice. Yes. So like I say, sorry, a thing I find a little odd about AX Cup as well is that the first two tracks here, they've like been very short tracks. That is not going to remain the same throughout the remainder of AX Cup. 2
courses from now and the course after that are the 2 longest courses in the game. But firstly, this course, Cylinder Wave, it's another cylinder course, kind of like Cylinder Knot, except it's got a few less shift boost opportunities, but it's got some kind of other things about it. A lot of the course is like a little bit wider. There's some places where it gets narrow, like narrow tubes and stuff around some turns, but in the wider sections, it drives a lot more reasonably. So it's a lot less frustrating of a course to play. There's a couple things that I want to shout out. First of all, for anyone interested, oh, that was nice. Little MTS into shift boost there. That's actually like a fairly new, newly discovered one.
shout outs to Brave.
For anyone who's interested in learning this run, AKC actually made a ridiculously comprehensive max speed guide that came out to like 53 pages. F-Zero GX, max speed guide, AKC 12. There'll be a couple things that come up. There should be a link to it on the F-Zero Reddit, which you guys should also check out. Oh, there's another little shift boost there that he got.
That's going to kill my speed, though.
Oh, okay. Well, he saved it at least. That's what matters. So he was going too fast there, which is always a terrible fate. But yeah, so we have that guide. It pretty much covers like all matters of general tech in the game in extremely comprehensive detail. There's also the F-Zero Reddit, where stuff gets posted. But we also have a link to the F-Zero Discord, which is where we talk about racing or like speedrunning, both this game and all the other ones too. F-Zero X, Super Nintendo, Max Velocity, Climax, whatever the last one is. I'm drawing a blank. The other GBA one. But
Max Velocity.
yeah, that one, Climax, and what else?
Oh, GP Legend.
Oh right, Grand Prix Legend. Okay, so there's channels for all those. So there's a link to that on the F-Zero forums, I'm pretty sure. And then finally, since most of the competition for all the games is just time attack, the ladders are on fzerocentral.org, so be sure to check that out, and that's where, if you were interested in playing, put times up there and stuff like that.
Yeah, 147, despite that slow down, was.
Yeah,
I'll
that was
accept
really good. Nice 30 on the 3rd lap.
Oh, yeah, very good.
Yeah, so this is Thunder Road. It's probably the longest course up to this point. It's either this one or Trident, but I think this course is longer. This course has a lot of boosters, a lot of refiller. There's several different places with opportunities for some rail slides, which, like I said, are pretty uncommon, except for like at the end of a course. Also, like varying degrees of difficulty. Like you can do one on the right side through this hallway. Mostly, if the ground like curves away at the end of the rail, that's the best place to do it. But a lot of the difficulty of this course comes down to MTS chaining, which, like I think I said before, Gallant Star is like the hardest vehicle to MTS chain with because its grip is so strong. So it's very easy to like consistently keep losing grip. There's the second rail slide there, and you lose a bit of speed, but you get more speed from this. Like you make better use of the dive if you're going a little bit slower when you start. So the speed gain that you get temporarily from the MTS, and then some speed that you get back from the dive makes up for exiting the rail slide a little weakly. And the third one, you can do a rail slide on this one. So yeah, you can see like in all 3 cases, That one he didn't exit super well, but basically the ground curves away from him, so you get a little bit of opportunity to get your speed back up. Or, like, to save some of the speed, rather.
Losing speed there, just grinded the wall.
Yeah. Yeah, that was an unintentional rail slide. Yeah, there's a little skip you can do there. He went forward on lap 1 as well, but he, I think, hit a wall on the, like...
Yeah, right before the
so
drop.
he decided not to go forward. It's extremely precise on lap 1. I've never even gotten it once. I haven't gone for it too much, but I've never gotten it, so... Yeah, so this course is kind of interesting. There's like a couple courses that have several vehicles that are relatively competitive, but outside of like a massive improvement that this course recently got by like 6 seconds, before that happened, this course was pretty competitive between Gallant Star, Black Bull, and Quick Star. I'm pretty sure the Quick Star record is at 234, I think. I'm pretty sure the Black Bull record is also at 234. And then the record for a while in this course with Gallant was at 227, and I don't think anyone else had sub 230. Up until recently, both Super Stanek and Brave improved the time significantly. I think Brave got down like at 223, and then Stanek pulled out at 221. But until that happened, they were all pretty competitive. Also, that's another place for a really good rail slide at the end, just because like the ground like leads right up to you. So the hardest part about like setting up a good rail slide is making sure that you approach the wall when you're close to it, and basically, so the wall does that for you, so it's really easy to get a really fast one. So this is Green Plant Spiral. It's my favorite course in the game, personally.
Mine as well.
Yeah. AKC used to have the record here until...
2 different occasions, yeah.
Until recently, or I guess like about a year ago or so, CGN came in and improved the record by like 8 seconds, switching to Gallant Star instead of Quick. And since then, a couple of other people have gotten better than AKC's time, but basically, it has a lot of turns, which are really good for Quick Star because you're MTSing a lot of them, but also has like a lot of refiller and a lot of boosters as well. So since normally when you exit an MTS, you come out a little bit slower, it's really hard to get up to speed, like up to 15, 16, 1700 kilometers an hour with Quick, just because like you're MTSing so much. But since there's so many boosters and so much energy, then you can consistently get up to those speeds anyway, which is just fun. It also has several different skips. Like you saw the first one at the beginning. I'll explain more about it when he gets back to it next lap. But there's also a couple other skips that I'll point out. But a lot of this course for lap 1 is just about MTS chaining cleanly. There's a few MTS into shift boost spots you can get both on the opener and on boost laps. Yeah, 106 opener is pretty solid.
Not bad.
Yeah. So like right there, so I haven't really explained exactly how skips work, but one of the big factors about skips are basically the game keeps track of, there's another little skip here. You just skip that little platform. You can do that one on lap 1 as well, but it's slightly slower maybe than a different strat where you get a shift boost on that platform. But basically if you, like your game keeps track of checkpoints pretty commonly on the course, and it lets you skip like a certain number because it understands like you might like drive over like a little corner through the air. But if you skip too many, then you'll blow up when you hit the ground. Also, this little skip here. Actually, a big one, rather. Yeah, that one's really cool. It's also really hard, so props to AKC for that. But basically, you can only skip like a certain number. So for some way, like when you're doing this one, it like updates your position somewhere in the middle of the air to being like halfway around the skip, or like halfway around like the bend, and then when you land, it only goes from there.
We have a $10 donation from Anonymous. Playing this game as a kid, I never thought these F-Zero speeds were possible.
You got the skip again. That was really good. And a 253.2, I think that was. That was really good. I think that would be like ranked 12 or 13.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, that was 0.1 seconds from beating my PB, and that's like probably one of my best PBs. So that's really good. Not surprising, I guess, since you had the record, but you know. So here's Sonic Oval. This will be the last course in the game. It's also the shortest course. It's just an oval with a bunch of boosters. He's going to be using Black Bull here, and just basically MTS training. The world record is with Black Bull. It uses a pretty insane suicide finish. He might go for it once just to like show it off. If your energy is right, just so they can, I don't know, it's up to you. But He won't get it because the success rate is like 1 in 100, but just so you could like see what it does. If he wants to, I won't make him, but. So that,
I'll try it.
Yeah, that suicide is possible with Black Bull and with Fat Shark. So Black Bull is definitely the fastest vehicle for this course, but if you're not going for the suicide, then Quickstar is probably the fastest vehicle. I believe Quickstar has like the 2nd and 3rd place times on the course, and quite a few other top times, just because it makes the best use of the MTS chaining. But yeah, so that's basically what happens, except you get really lucky and you pinball around the last corner and fly across the finish line. So like I said, he wouldn't get it, but that's what it looks like. It's pretty insane when it happens. So yeah, other than that, once he crosses the finish line on the 3rd lap, that'll be time. I'll call it, but. And time. Yeah, that's good.
Really good.
What was the time on the run?
It's a 1:11:32. Satisfactory, a few too many deaths, but showed off a lot of cool stuff, so I'm very happy. And before I go,
Would it be possible for us to show off like about a minute for snaking, just to show it off really quick, since we're ahead? Okay.
all right, that was F-Zero GX. Before I go, just shoutouts to the entire F-Zero community for playing and discovering out this game. All right, thank you.